Kaushik, and I think it's good to see you once again virtually. I think it's many years that we haven't met in person.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Professor Srinivasan, for this introduction. So, in brief, so of course, I am basically from a journalism background. I did my journalism for over 4 years, and then one fine day I quit journalism. And these days, very tough to say that you are a journalist. So it's very tough. So, so I quit journalism. I moved into the what you say development sector. I don't know how many of you are aware about development communication and development sector, but I started working for non-profit organization because I thought, and initially also I moved towards social media platforms. And when I started using social media, a lot of my seniors used to say that I am wasting my time. But thankfully today it's like a bread and butter for me. So once you have to also take off risk taking abilities, and the current scenario in which we are living, we have to really focus on how we are upskilling ourselves. So one is about academics, which you are already there, but at the same time, what are the things which you are doing other than your academics will really make you a distinct personality. It will make you stand out in the crowd because everyone is going through the same academic processes. What different you are doing despite being in the academics? What are things which you are getting into? And one more thing is that I have a 1-year-old daughter, so she is going to be in around, so you might be hearing a cry, shouting. So please avoid that. I have a COVID positive case in my home, so I have to manage both the things. Okay. So just a disclosure. Okay, so coming back to the topic, and I think also it would be great if we can have more interaction. So for example, you can use this chat. I can see the questions coming in. I will more than happy to respond. You are also most welcome to unmute yourself and ask question whenever you feel like. So before I going to start, I will also tell how my whole journey to fellowship has started. And I don't know how many of you understand fellowship. See, fellowship is not like a 2-year program which you are into, a 1-year program. No, it's a very short term, very focused kind of an engagement exercise. It can be done nationally. Nationally, there are a lot many fellowships are coming up, but internationally there are plethora of fellowships which one can log into. And Kaushik, if you can also tell me now some of the background of these students, so I can relate.
So we have, for your session, we have invited our graduate student also, who are alumni, and first year, second year, third year students of BCom, BBA, and BCA program.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so coming back to the topic, see, I am from a literature background, and then I moved into journalism, and then I moved into development communication. And I also come from Bihar. Thankfully, that you have the opportunity of mentors like Kaushik, now who have gone through the process, and he has now the experience to impart to all of you. So when we were doing, there was hardly any mentorship available. So mentorship is the new buzzword right now. But when we were studying, there's hardly anyone to guide us, and we are not born on internet. So there is a two distinct population right now. One is digital natives, people like you, most who are listening must be born in internet era. We are not born in internet era. We are basically digital immigrant. We immigrated to these platforms, social media, internet, and all. So that's the basic differences. You know social media, you know internet pretty well than what we are knowing it. So, but that also was a hindrance when we were studying or we were in the colleges. Now, there's no any such thing as a mentorship. What are the opportunities? But thankfully, during my graduation, we got to know about internet and everything. Sorry. And then I started experimenting and applying for fellowship. And why I started for fellowship is that, see, one is about academics, and the other thing is how you can upskill yourself. So fellowship not just is about academics, it's also about honing your skills. And one thing is that you must be very well versed in Excel and all, but how good you can be in your communication skills, how good you can be in your problem solving. Okay, just hold for a second. Yes. So how good you can be a problem solving, how good you can be a creative person and trying to address these issues. Okay. So one, the first step about fellowship is that it sharpen your professional skills. And where do you go to sharpen yourself? Now, academics, of course, there is a set curriculum which you have to follow. What other things you can do? Like, for example, during my graduation, I was the first opportunity to apply for a program called Young Connectors of Future by Swedish Institute. So it's by government of Sweden. And they applied and they asked for youth to apply for this fellowship program. It was for India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. Now it has expanded to Nepal and Sri Lanka, but during that time period, they were focusing on all these countries. I applied for it and I got selected. Of course, they have this process, and I got the opportunity to go to the Sweden for the first time. And the whole fellowship, what basically opened up me, one, that the whole fellowship was designed in a what called learning by experience. And it was nothing like that I have to go and read books and everything. It's completely learning by experience, and that's very innovative methodology. And some of the learnings which I did on Sweden, I came back and I did some of the experiments at GTU, Gujarat Technological University, where I connected with COSIC. And like, for example, I started this whole initiative called Crowdfunding Initiator. And it was really a good transition from students from technological background to get an understanding what learning by experience means, what is complex problem solving, what is creative mindset and all. And it did reflect it. And I'm very happy to share that most of the startups or the students of the final year has a very well and running companies right now. So one thing is that it does have a mindset change. I remember that there was a mentor of mine called Mark Comerford. And I don't know how many of you remember Arab Spring. So he was one of the guy who basically helped a lot of social media strategy during the Arab Spring. And when he came and when he talked about how he has started using social media for social good. So even my perspective about social media has changed a lot. That how I can use social media for social good. Like, for example, today during this COVID situation, we are running a whole campaign called Gujarat COVID Support. It's completely run through social media. We are raising funds. We are trying to help people as many as possible. We have developed WhatsApp bot. We have a dedicated website which provides verified. So all these things would not happen if I am not able to maybe go to the fellowship and broaden my horizons. So the fellowship does that to you. And the best part is that I was able to interact with youth from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Pakistan, which was very impossible because we already have a set mindset about individuals from these countries. So it's a tragedy that they can't come to our country and we can't go to their country quite easily. But it was like a place like Sweden where we are all meeting from different countries. And that what we realized that most of the youths have the same problem and same challenges. And that was also an eye-opening exercise because we tend to think certain way and they tend to think certain way. But when you meet in person, when you talk about the issues and challenges, then you start feeling that, okay, we both are same, more or less it's same situation. The other thing is also about understanding a different kind of a cultural setup. I don't know how many of you are aware about Swedish culture, but Swedish culture is more about minimalism. Minimalism is the new concept which is coming in India because of this famous lady who wrote a book on minimalism. But when we got there, and then we got to know about what minimalism is all about. And minimalism is not just in professionally, but also in their personal lives. I had the opportunity to stay in families, Swedish families. They hosted us, so I lived there, and I basically understand what their whole culture is all about. Sometimes we have so many biases, thanks to mass media, that they are projecting certain image of Western countries and all. But when you get to live there, when you get to live with the common people there, then you understand what values they have, how they do things in a certain manner, and what are their professional ethics. So one thing which I was really impressed in terms of how they organize themselves professionally. So that was completely, mind-blowing exercise to understand what their thinking process is. And all these things would not have been possible if I don't have the opportunity to go there as a fellow to understand these things. And I was there for almost a month. So almost a month, and of course it was in 2 batches. But the kind of interaction we had, so it's more like learning from each other than being asked to wrote something or mug up something. So everything was designed in a certain manner. And I would also suggest many of you, if you really want to experiment or you really want to know more, there's a platform called Hyper Island. There's a Hyper Island. Again, it's a very, very interesting platform. And there's no faculty. There is no course structure. It's the students who develop their course structure and manage the whole program. And the mentors from Hyper Island was basically our mentors at Swedish Institute. And again, this is by government of Sweden. So this is one of the experience which I had, and I think that really changed a lot in terms of my approach to work, my social media experiments, and my social media use for social good, and also in terms of communication. Because many of the times we don't realize the importance of our user base and how we want to communicate to the real target audience. Many of the times we take them for a granted. And there I understand what it means to understand the user base experience. And I think as you are professional from MBA background, a BBA background, and tomorrow you might be go out in the public and in the open, and then you will realize how important to really understand the needs and requirements of the users so that you can plan your strategy accordingly. So that's really, really a crucial thing. And all these things I learned just through interacting, just through group work, group discussion. Like, for example, I remember a very powerful tool called reflection. I don't know how many of us we do reflection sessions. Like, for example, at the end of every session, we used to do a reflection session. So reflection session, what happens that you as a person have to share after the session gets over, what are the things which you learned? Now, what are the things which you, where your myths got break? So you tend to reflect on yourself. And when everyone reflect, there's also a learning happening within the community or within the group. So that was also happening. So that was also a new thing. It's not easy to do a reflection when people are unknown to you or a stranger to you. But again, they have this concept of building that trust. So there used to be and most of those sessions used to happen in a circular format. And again, and in India, generally we do like a theater style kind of a sessions, where there's on dais, people are sitting there, and there are other people who are sitting on down. So there's already a hierarchy is created, where someone on the top are making you to listen rather than you being part of the conversation. So these are very small things, but it does have a lot of impact as a user, as an audience. And then I understand and that's why I think now these days also we are seeing a lot of round table kind of a discussion is also happening. So because it's on equal par, you are sharing your things, and the other people are having at the same equality level to listen to your ideas and thoughts. So that's also an important learning for me. And I think again, when I came back, I started using these things, and of course, we are put in a different format, different kind of a learning. So it will take some time to understand these things, or in terms of breaking these silos. Yes, Kaushik, you can ask.
Yeah, so I thought I'll make the session bit interactive. So I have few questions that I want to ask. One is, what kind of fellowships should student do? So being a background of BCom, BBA, and BCA, so what kind of fellowships do you recommend?
So one thing you see that again, it depends upon your interest area, but I don't see there is a problem if they are doing a BBA, BCA, IT, literature. There's nothing as such. That's not a barrier. And you can go for social impact fellowship. You can go for a fellowship like LAMP fellowship. If you're interested in politics, you should apply that. If you're into social entrepreneurship, you can go for Acumen fellowship. And if you want to become a TED fellow, and a TED fellow is one of the biggest fellowship, and I have been trying but not able to succeed there. And I have tried twice or thrice, but still not able to succeed there. And a TED fellowship is also there. And Acumen, TED, LAMP fellow is very popular these days. LAMP fellows, if you're really interested into politics and you really want to understand how policy things work. So there is a scope of you there to get connected. You also have a leaders lab, like by Swedish Institute. Or if you really want to do a gender-based fellowship program. And see, fellowship, again, I will come back some of the pointers on fellowship, but fellowship has now diversed. So there you have abroad fellowship, you have fellowship in India. There are lots of interesting fellowship by CMs now, or the Prime Minister fellowship, I think is stopped, but a lot of state CM have their ongoing fellowship. I remember that Haryana government is giving a fellowship, which basically the salary or the amount for fellowship was about 75,000 or 1 lakh of rupees, kind of a thing.
75.
Yeah. So there are a lot of, Gujarat government also have a fellowship program for the students. So the idea of fellowship is that you get to learn on the job in a different way altogether. But the kind of exposure you will get, you won't be able to get while you are working in a company or while you're working in any industry. So this will give you more exposure, more connection, more network also. And these networks will eventually help you in going or getting more projects and scaling up your career also. Or maybe you should apply for Gurukul Fellowship by British Council or Chevening Scholarship. Yes.
Great.
Yes, Kaushik.
So, sir, just to add on for the benefit of students, so most of the chief minister have come up with chief minister fellowship. So I'll encourage students also to explore this chief minister fellowship, and it's roughly a 3 months fellowship, and even Niti Aayog has come up with internships.
Yes.
Which you can apply from 1st to 10th of every month. So these are few fellowships in politics.
And I know friends who have done fellowship from Niti Aayog and got hired as a consultant also. So it's not about just the learning, you also open up a lot of opportunities, and which you are not known to many of us. The other thing is about fellowship is also that you get to learn about something new, something completely different, which is different from the jobs and everything.
Right. So it is not required that it should be from the same stream. You can cross explore streams.
Yes. So like for example, fellowship basically sharpens your professional skills.
Yeah.
Are these fellowships online, the ones with Niti Aayog and the Chief Minister?
Just hold for a second.
Yeah. So who was asking the question?
Ashika will be back. Just hold.
Yeah.
Hi, Monish here.
Yes, Monish.
I just wanted to know if these fellowships that you mentioned about the Niti Aayog and from Niti Aayog and the Chief Minister, are they going to be online fellowships or like?
So Niti Aayog fellowship is an offline fellowship. You have to apply through Niti website. So niti.gov.in is the website. You go to the opportunity page. The third or fourth option is internship. So you have to apply there. So from 1st to 10th, you have to apply. And then they take 10 days to process your application. So within a month, you'll get a response.
Okay.
But
in the pandemic, will it happen offline?
Generally, it is offline. I don't know how they are doing it online, but generally it's offline.
So Kaushik, I have also shared a link. It's by youthop.com. And again, this is one of my fellow at Bangladesh. We are part of British Council Fellowship Program. And during that time period, he launched this program called youthopportunities.com. So this is one of the biggest and largest platform for youth opportunities in fellowship. So you not just got to know about fellowship programs, you will get to know about the competition activities happening at national level, international level. So it is one of the best platform which I see, and they have a lot of updated information how to apply for fellowship and all. So I would strongly recommend, and you'll find a lot of diversity in these fellowship. And please note that I also have applied many fellowship, but I got success in few only. So it's not that you will apply for the first time and you will get selected. You have to keep on trying. The other thing is also how you apply for fellowship is another thing, like the way of the statement of intent, writing it, conceptualizing your work area, how you present yourself when you do for the video interview or Skype interview, how you're communicating yourself. Even if you have not done any work, but if you're able to convince them that how this fellowship will basically help you in terms of getting that experience so that you will be working more in this particular area, will have an impact. So these things are very, very important. So coming back to fellowship. So one is that it sharpens your professional skills. And also it's like a hyper focus. It's not that it's a 2 month or 1 year program. It can be 3 months, it can be 6 months kind of engagement. Some of them are free of cost, and most of the fellowship where I have went, I don't have to pay a single penny. Even the visa fees are waived off, so I don't have to worry about that. And most of the fellowship are completely free of cost. Even LAMP fellowship, I think they don't charge anything. You have to apply and you have to commit your time and your or your professional experience. That kind of a thing is required. The other thing is also it helps you in making you stand out in jobs and promotions, especially jobs, because again, so these days people are also looking from different kind of a mindset of individuals to join an organization.
It's 10 o'clock.
Because when you bring something different, there is a lot of value in the organizational setup also, because you might have a worldview which might others will be having, and you can also be able to connect things. And these days connecting things is very, very important and very, very crucial. When I say connecting things, it means that like connect the dots kind of a thing. And okay, this thing exists there, there's other thing is there, because until you don't have that world vision, you will not be able to connect it. So this also broadens your mindset, broadens your horizons. The other thing is that it's flexible, that it depends upon your time, interest, and area. So as I mentioned that many people go for fellowship, like the Barefoot College in Jaipur. Many people go to understand how solar thing is being worked there. So Barefoot College in Jaipur is well known for imparting training in solar production, and small activities which do. I know there's also a fellowship called Jagrati Yatra. That's a 15-day journey on a train ride starting from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. They have a whole route to the whole journey. So you live there on a train for the next 15 days. You stop there, you go and meet a mentor, come back, do a lot of interaction on the train, and there's a audience coming from all across the country, all across the globe also. So I also been part of Jagrati Yatra Fellowship as a facilitator. So I also get a lot to learn from there. I got to meet from a lot of IITs, IIMs, local colleges, local universities, and they all come together, and there's a lot of exchanging is happening, and there's a good community which also emerge. So fellowship also helps in you providing that community support. So like, for example, I am in different fellowship, but there's always a community support behind you. So if you need any help in support and guidance, I find them very, very useful when I go and ask for any help. So that thing is also there. The other thing, it's hands-on experience. It's not just like talking. It's hands-on experience. You have to do it on your own. Like, for example, I remember that we made a whole plan, like a fellow from Pakistan, when we thought we're given a task, how can you do something to bring youth from Pakistan and India together? And we came with this whole concept like Dostify. We say that we'll create, again, it's a digital media platform or website or social media, where our job is just to provide positive stories from youths from India and from Pakistan. So the idea is that because we don't know what youths in Pakistan are doing, and they are not very much aware what we are doing as a youth. So can we create a platform where they will promote in their country, I will promote in my own country, just to highlight what diverse youths are doing in both these countries. And they are very, very interesting. I have a friend called Mohammed Shan. He works in Gilgit Balochistan, and he runs a whole IT company where he trains the villagers, the youths in villages, to become an IT professional without any degree. So that's a very, very, very interesting, a very powerful kind of experiment he is doing. So these things are not aware about how youths are challenging these things and trying to come with their own solutions. The other thing is developing cultural competency and also understanding of different cultures. Maybe today you are here, but tomorrow if you want to move to other countries, Europe and other US and other countries, if you have a cultural understanding, it will make your job a little easier. I don't know how many of you are aware, but now even the MNCs, they basically involve cultural coach to guide their company professionals to understand what kind of a culture exists in India. So they are better prepared when they are going into these countries. So they don't hurt the cultural sensibilities. Because of course our culture is very intrinsic to us, and whatever the things which we do has a lot of influence due to our culture also. The same thing there. So there is a cultural differences also. But again, these fellowships gives you that exposure to understand those cultural nuances. And of course, it's for a short period of time, but you get to know while interacting there, not reading through a Google article or no, or checking a YouTube video. And it is not possible. You have to interact in person to really get that feeling. And the first and most important thing is growing your leadership skills. And I think that's very, very crucial. I don't know how many of you follow World Economic Forum studies and all, because they recently came up with their 21st century skills. And like where they mention again, complex problem solving, creative thinking, communication skill, leadership skill. These are going to be a very, very important factor in your career growth. And not as a professional, but also if you like to experiment as an entrepreneur. How would these things will matter, or design thinking, so these things. So I fortunately got a chance to go to this fellowship. I'm able to build my leadership skills somewhat. I am leading some of the initiatives at the organization which I'm working in, also some of the initiative which is completely personal and also passionate driven. So these kind of a thing. So this will basically help you in honing your skills. And there, I also got to learn that there's no one is judging you, because you come from different background, you intermingle with each other and start working towards something. So that also was a very important learning. The other is getting international exposure. Again, international exposure again plays a very, very important role. Kaushik knows, like I'm also part of World Economic Forum. So there's this whole community called World Economic Global Shapers Community. And why World Global Shapers Community came in the picture? Because World Economic Forum realized that it's important that we give young people a position on the table. Because unfortunately, what is happening many of the times, we as a young people, I'm still young, don't not go by my look. So we tend to make them listen most of the time, and we give them very less opportunity to speak about themselves. So Global Shapers Community came with this whole idea, how we can give power to young people to take the lead and the initiatives. So Global Shapers are almost more than 400 cities across the globe. We are all connected again digitally. At the same time, it's in Patna, it's in Ahmedabad, Delhi, Mumbai. I must believe that your university must be a Global Shaper. If not, you can simply go on globalshapers.org and you can check that. So again, in Global Shapers Community, what happens? We have different backgrounds of professionals coming together and working on different projects. So it was like again a voluntary driven, but we were passionate. We came together and run interesting initiative in Ahmedabad also. So that's another example where you can go for this thing. Like for example, I got the opportunity to have an interaction with Pope in Vatican City. So there are 40 of us who got selected. I think I was only from the India, to get and have an interaction to really understand what's happening in the Vatican City, and that was basically focusing on poverty eradication and all. But I got a chance to basically moderate a session from some of the topmost names of the world, leading some of the UN organization in UN and other independent organization. So that gives a lot of confidence to you. So that thing also happened. So, and all these things are possible. So, and it just requires your effort, some energy and persistence, because it's not that you will crack it in the one go. So you have to be very focused, and you also have to start reading about it. Like Acumen Fellowship, they generally do an open house interaction with their fellows, who come and talk about what this fellowship is all about, what they learned, how they applied, how they got selected, kind of a thing. So you can also go on acumenfellowship.com or .org. You can get their newsletter, so that you're always updated what's happening, and you can start trying for these things. And of course, Career Boost is there, because see, once you get this exposure, you also get exposed to a lot of other opportunities which you are not aware of. Like for example, I was able to manage a social media account of Peace Revolution. It's one of the biggest organization which I'm working on, inner peace. So I got to know through one of our fellow at again Swedish institutes, and he saw my work, and then we got connected, and I was able to do that kind of a project. So that also happens. So it's not just limited to your personal, but also it also helps in your professional growth. Yes, Kaushik, I think I should take more questions rather than I've been talking. Will international have the same impact online, as the pandemic might not let us safely travel for another couple of years?
Yeah. So I guess we have got two questions, and both the questions are from our professors. So Jagruti ma'am, if you want to ask your question. Is Jagruti ma'am here? Okay. Jagruti ma'am was asking, can we do fellowships online?
Yes, there are a lot many fellowships are online these days also because of pandemics. So they are also transforming themselves. There are fellowships existing which can be done online. But thankfully, when I was doing fellowship is a different time period. So I most had the opportunity to go outside abroad and interact and engage. So that's a different experience. Of course, you can do online fellowships like I can't recollect now, but I can share some of the links with Kaushik, and he can share most of you on online fellowship program. So there are online fellowships, so no doubt about it.
Sir, and there are few fellowships by UNICEF and World Bank. So
UNICEF has a UN volunteers program. So right now, if I don't know what's the age group of the students, so we are also running this campaign called Young Warrior, and there we have come up with a WhatsApp platform where they interact with the students. So maybe I can share the link in the chat box, and if they are willing, they can experiment with that. But UNICEF also have a program called UNV, United Nations Volunteers Program. And if you're really interested, you can go and enroll yourself for UNICEF Career and Job Portal. And whenever there's something new, you can apply for it. And there are a lot many people who apply for this UNV position. So UNV position also helps you. I would not say that you get direct entry, but it will help you understand how UN functions. You get a first-hand experience of working with UN organization, and later you can apply for more position and more openings. So that you can also, it's called UNV position, United Nations Volunteers position.
Okay. I got one question. Sir, is there any age upper limit to apply to the fellowship programs?
I think most of the students, I think they will be able to apply for fellowships. People like us, we have still some of the fellowship we can't apply. But again, there are fellowships even for academicians who can, like for example, I also went to this fellowship by US State Department. It's called Legislative Fellowship Program. And I stayed 1 month in USA. I stayed with a senior lady in USA. She was 70-year-old, and she was all by herself. She managed each and every work on herself. And I also got to understand how US election works. I went during the last election time period when the election was about to start. So I had the opportunity to stay for 1 month. I was a witness I was in there's a place called Texas, and there's a city called Reno City. And so I was there for almost 1 month, and they had this whole concept of citizen diplomacy. So we were first at DC, and then I was interested more to do the fellowship in social media space. So I got to work with an organization who were doing the social media campaigning for Trump. So I also got to know how the social media is working there and what kind of things they are approaching. So that was again a different experience, because I got to know that they have. Legislative fellowship programs, they don't have an age category as such, and they do invite academicians, they invite MPs, MLAs also. So for example, I was part, from political leaders also. So that also you have to brainstorm, engage with them, and that kind of a thing. And when the main congregation happened, we were able to not meet all of them. There were almost 400 fellows from different countries coming together at a single platform. So again, these are very different experience altogether. But once you have it, then you realize its importance.
Yeah. So I guess I am getting few messages from my professors also. Is there any fellowship for us? So they're asking if professors have any fellowships. So just to add, I just came to know that RBI has come up with a fellowship for all finance and accounts professor. And it's a 2 months offline fellowship. And you have to go there, work for RBI for 2 months. and come back, and only professors can apply who has work experience of 5 years in fields of accounts and finance. And it will be a good experience. You'll be framing RBI policies, so you'll be helping them frame policies. So that's one of the fellowship that I came across. And Kumar sir, do you know any fellowship for professors?
See, there's a very interesting platform called Dave Creative also. Dave Creative is again a lot of development, communication, academics. So there are a lot of fellowships program available for faculties also. It's just that we are not aware. But there, I will sharing some of the links with Kaushik, and Kaushik, if you can pass on the link to them, I think that will be really helpful.
So students, do you have any questions that you want to ask? So you can raise your hand. I guess any students who want to ask any questions?
And also, if they're active on Twitter and all, they can also get to know about a lot of youth opportunities are very active on Twitter. They do post. There are Google groups which they can join to get an update about fellowship programs and everything.
Yeah.
Kaushik sir, I have a question from
Yes,
our
Amrita.
students.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Kumar sir, I am a faculty of computer science department at Cresta. So here our students are asking, can we get into any technical fellowship right now that they have time in the pandemic?
So again, I say this youthop.com. This is very, very comprehensive platform where you can find a lot of fellowships. Like for example, Google also have fellowship programs. And I don't know how many of you are aware, Google also have a fellowship program. So there you can also explore. Yes. So this is the platform Youth Opportunities, and browse opportunities. You will see a lot of things ongoing.
Fellowships, you have fellowships also, internships.
And exchange programs.
And for our students, this fellowship is very good. Fulbright Nehru Academic Professional Excellence Fellowship. So you can apply to this fellowship. And it is for doing your master's or doing a fellowship for 2 months, 3 months in US. So I guess there are multiple fellowships that you can explore.
You can also look at DAAD Fellowship. It's a German organization. They do a lot of fellowship programs. And if you're looking for IT sector, I think we'll go for Germany, because Germany is really, really responsive. And even Sweden, Sweden also is very, very responsive to IT background professionals.
Yeah, so for students, you actively look at this website, search everything, and you'll be able to get a fellowship which might be an interest to you.
And you can also, for example, as simple as Teach for India fellowship program. That's also very interesting fellowship program.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, do we have any more questions from students?
Kaushik, you can share my LinkedIn also or Twitter handle, and they're more than happy to DM me. I'm very much responsive, so I will more than happy to respond individually also.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll share your LinkedIn profile. I'll also share your Twitter handle. So if any student want to get in touch with you, they can connect with you on social media handles.
Yes, I'm more than happy to.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for this interesting session. And I hope it has helped students. And I'll also encourage all my students to participate in one or the other fellowship program. There are a lot of opportunities available. Take best out of it. You can go with the shortest fellowship of a month. And Kumar sir, if you see the academic structure of Cresta, after every odd semester, we encourage students to go for a 14 days fellowship. And after every even semester, we encourage students to go for a 2 months fellowship.
Okay.
And that space has been created in the academic structure itself.
Okay.
So when they are about to complete their 3 years undergrad, they can do 6 internships. So that possibility we have developed in the academic structure. So we encourage this, and this was the entire purpose of having your session. And just to add on for all the students, Kumar sir is also on our industry board of advisors for one of our specialized program, and he's helping us to develop a program. And he will be interacting with you with the fellowships and the different activities, different programs that he is doing. And you take benefit of he being on campus whenever he comes, whenever the lockdown opens, we'll invite him, and you can connect with him online. And he's very friendly, and he has helped me a lot finding the right fellowships. And we have spent 2 to 3 years working together on different projects, from crowdfunding to helping startups. When I was when I was with Gujarat Technological University as project officer. Yeah. So, sir, it was nice interacting with you.
Thank you, Kaushik. Thank you, Kaushik, and thank you all the faculty members who are here, and especially students. And I think again, it's what we call it, learning by trial by what you said, trial. Sorry, I forgot the phrase, by something on trial. So do trial as much as possible, because this is the time period where you can experiment. Because after you go into professional world, it's very difficult. It's very challenging. It's not easy. So